Do you like women's sports? Sports across the gender spectrum? How about you're sick of men's sports? Well, that's what we're here to talk about.
On this show, we work to level the sports coverage across the gender spectrum.
Welcome to Balance Sports.
I'm Hunter.
I'm Jewelz.
Let's get into it. Headband, gang, gang.
Gang, gang, gang. Yeah, I was feeling my hippie vibe.
I was feeling sweaty. This is our show where we talk about hair.
Is that what this is the content you wanted, right?
Welcome to the salon.
Let's start with BG News.
Yeah.
It is Monday morning, and about an hour ago, I first saw CNN report that Brittany Griner's trial would start this Friday.
Mm-hmm. That article read that people have been held for lesser charges. Her charge she could be held up for up to 10 years. And honestly, the way it was read was like, there is no indication that it's going to be even a good trial. That essentially they are holding her for all the reasons we know, like
political prisoner of war.
Political prisoner of war. So the pictures in the video, like startling. It just like really fucking sucks.
Really, really sucks. Thoughts with BG. Oh man, I really hope our government could get it together and do something.
I know. I can't imagine like her family and friends, that the tie of like, you see this and it literally is it just feels like so much higher politically. So yeah, thoughts with BG. That's just a really tough time. Hate to see that. Like the news of it just prolonging and doesn't sound like good news.
Yeah. I would love if we as fans could get some guidance or some Breonna Stewart wore like a BG shirt with what are those called?
Barcode. The
barcode on them, and I guess there's a petition that you can sign. So far, that's all we know. We don't have much action plan, but we do what we can.
Yeah.
Keep talking about it, and voicing our support for Brittany to come home.
Yeah, I honestly want to throw out while we're talking about BG, I've been feeling extra pride this week as a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Brittany Griner is an awesome representative of this. I was thinking of her as like someone that has went into this league coming from Baylor, where they like suppressed who she was, and they still, since she's graduated, with Nikki Cullen there instead of Kim, they're being a little bit maybe more inclusive, shall we say. Not shall we say, they're definitely being more inclusive. They've done some fucked up things in the past. Let's just throw it out there. Baylor, all tea, all shade. Y'all need to get some things right. Okay, that's coming from a Texas girl.
I was gonna
but
say,
the Texas of it all. No, I like how BG, since she's been in the league, has just like been true to herself.
Yeah.
Courtney Williams has talked about this, like losing marketing opportunities because you dress a certain way or you act a certain way. And BG experienced that heavily in college, suppressed who they were, and is a great representative of our community in the WNBA.
Absolutely.
Come back, style out. Miss those outfits. Miss the shoes, my lord.
Shall we get into some scores from around the league?
I guess they were bad this week.
We'll start off with Friday night's games. The Mercury beat the Dallas Wings 82-73. The LA Sparks beat the Seattle Storm 85-77. The Washington Mystics beat the Las Vegas Aces 87-86. The Sun beat the Dream 72-61. And the Chicago Sky beat the Minnesota Lynx 88-85.
There was some upsets.
Some things went some ways that we didn't see happening.
I do have good news. While you said that, I realized that I had incorrectly marked one of our games wrong. So your record last week was 6-9.
Still sounds really bad.
You do. I was like, it's not going to be that much greater.
Could you correct the score to
see if you can change it again? Okay.
So now you have a winning record.
The way that works for me is yes, I do. I'm sorry. I'm
weird.
This.
So weird.
Let's start with Chicago.
Okay.
That was a great game. Deceased that they gave Sylvia Fowles a recliner at midcourt before the game.
Oh my God.
Deceased, obsessed. I need all of it. The smile on her face, like it just felt very like I don't know what the gig was behind it, but it felt like she knew, and that's why I liked it. I wasn't even able to listen to it. I had it on while I was doing something else. Oh, it was funny.
It was very, very funny. I love she got in. They kicked up her feet. She was having fun. That was a lovely little little treat for everybody to laugh at.
They should have been like, we're putting this on the bench so when you come out today, you can get proper rest and kick your feet back. Oh, that would have been great.
Somebody on Twitter said, well, how's she going to get that recliner back home with her like economy seat or something like yeah.
Courtney Vandersloot with some heroics at the end.
Oh my. So if you would have drawn up the play, would you have given it to Vandersloot?
I would not give it to Vandersloot.
You would have given it to Candace, wouldn't you?
They had James Wade out. So this is good on their how awesome as a
assistant coach
coach come in, you have a game-winning play like that. They have so many girls on the court that I feel like are clutch time players like that. Her, Quigley, Kalia Copper wasn't in this game. Obviously, Candace. I would if Sloot's getting the last shot, I'm going to feel really great about that as a coach. I'm going to feel terrible about that if I'm the opposing team.
Who would you? So I think I would have. I'm not gonna. Okay, wouldn't have drawn up the same play. Just so we're clear, but I would have given the ball to Vandersloot.
Well, it looked a little broken, right? Or was that one of the options? It to me, it was like going to be between Quigley, Vandersloot, and then maybe some kick out options on the slide. I feel like it was going to be between one of them two.
Yeah, the way that Emma Miesemann threw the ball to Vandersloot right there at the end, like it just seemed like you had options. So yeah, it was a very clutch. Like, oh man, that was exciting. Now, should it have been that exciting?
Minnesota was playing tougher. They've been playing teams a lot harder. And
yes,
and we have to acknowledge that.
Yes, they have. I was still shocked that like I think I watched from like the second quarter. I was shocked that they were in it the whole time. And like, yeah, made it a very exciting, well, not the whole time. There was I think there was quite a run where they were down by maybe 20 or 12 or something like that. But got back in it. It was an exciting game.
It was. I want to give Mariah Jefferson her flowers. I like the pickup that they have for her. She was a player that was cut from Dallas, and now she's a starting point guard, and I think doing a pretty good job for Minnesota. I mean,
you mentioned her last week during your nerd out stat moment that she had like the highest, was it 3 points or something like that?
We'll get back to those stats one of these days. The next game, the Washington Mystics beat the Las Vegas Aces.
Did not see that coming.
No, I don't ever see the Aces losing. That was a shot. I just think that Las Vegas, I never expect to lose, but they have to at least one of these days. Seattle. What'd you say?
I was like, and they did again.
And they did both of these days. Seattle lost to the Sparks. I was not at that game. Give me your rundown. Moving on.
That game was frustrating. I just felt like, I mean, obviously we just didn't have it. Things weren't falling. We scored 9 points in the last quarter. And you can't win a game scoring 9 points in the last quarter. Like, you just can't. They were rebounding way more than we were. It was just a really frustrating game. And trying to not overanalyze and say, well, what does this mean for us? What does this mean for us? We'll get into that, I guess, a little bit later. But I don't think they look past them. I'd like to think that they didn't look past them. They're professionals, but like, geez, it was just, they just didn't have it.
You know, LA, I thought played us very hard the last time we played them when they came to Seattle. Katie Lou had a great game this game. NECA also had a great game. But yeah,
NECA went off, yeah.
The game we played them previously, it wasn't like we just blew them out of the water. I think I'll speak for myself here. I think we have been poo-poo on the Sparks here, but they play us really hard every time. So it's like the eye test is saying that we should be beating this team, but the paper is like, no, they match up really hard with y'all. It's not a favorable matchup. True or false?
I wouldn't say it's not a favorable matchup. I think that
we just play like ass every time we play them.
That feels more accurate.
Okay, great.
That can't be happening too many times. That was a game we should have won.
Mm-hmm. You look at your calendar and there's certain games you're like, this is a toss-up, this one's a win. Yeah. That one needed to be a win.
It absolutely did.
Well, speaking of another team that needed a win, Phoenix Mercury beat the Dallas Wings. Dallas has been very like this season. Phoenix has been very like this season. No, I mean, they've gone through a lot, but this was their game. They had like 8, maybe 9 available players for this game, right? Tina decided that day that she was divorcing the Mercury. The language there.
Has the whole season been a trial separation? Like what?
Who gets the children? Skylar and Diana.
Many questions.
let's get into this game.
Let's get into
Let's get into this game. We said this before we even I was rewatching our last show and we were talking about this matchup and we were like, Skylar Diggins is playing her old team. She's gonna get feisty, and she was feisty. She stayed feisty. She's gonna get feisty. But you know who else was feisty?
Tell us.
The entire Sun roster, Sophia Cunningham exclusively.
I believe there was an expletive Tina Charles at the end of the game heard by one Miss Cunningham.
Thoughts?
What provoked that?
What do you think provoked that?
Okay, in my mind, it was like fans yelling something, and then she then said that in response. I can't imagine that she was just like, yeah, we won. Fuck Tina Charles. Like, I can't imagine that's how that went. Please tell me that's not how that went. Please tell me that's how that went.
That's how that works.
Stop!
I mean, like, look, to be fair, I'm not at that stadium. I couldn't tell you if Dallas fans were yelling Tina Charles. I'm going to say they weren't. Why would Dallas fans be like, Sophie, Tina's better? Like,
of course, the Texas guy would say the Dallas fans weren't.
No, I don't think the Dallas fans, they are Dallas. Would you have yelled? We would never.
No.
We talk about this. We would never. Sophie has done a lot of questionable things in her career. Let's just put that out there like that. She is outspoken and she's stayed true to herself, whether you like that or whether all of us don't. And from what I seen on the Twitters is they won this game. It was decided and they're all there. They're like, big victory. Woo, we did it. Fuck Tina. We don't need her. That's how it came across.
Oh.
She didn't say we don't need her, but like the energy you're getting is we're all just like celebrating like a really hard fought team win against a Dallas team that we have some history with. We don't have Tina. We fucking did that. Fuck Tina. But say in the locker room. I'm not mad at her for saying it. Here's the thing. I like the competitiveness. I like being like, it's just us, guys. It's just 8 of us. We're here showing up.
Sure.
Bad juju. Bad juju. You don't want that out in your media. You don't want that out as a team. Your owner, your coach has had to be very PR stone cold. Steve Austin just being like, Tina moved on. We divorced her.
We're moving on as well.
The paper has been filed. We're moving.
Yeah.
Then you got Sophie at the timeouts screaming F Tina.
Unnecessary. I would say that was unnecessary. It's also like, y'all, I'm assuming that I have your phone number. Because we were teammates, right? Like Sophie, Tina. Are we never talking again? Like, there's a professionalism that I'm like, girl, like, that's not cute.
I have this to me is just,
you know what I mean? Like we're gonna like see each other again.
You're gonna play probably multiple times again this season.
It's like that friendly handshake, you know, they give it this like, miss me with that. Because
my phone will be like this during that game when Sophie and Tina go to see each other at the foul throw line. I'm actually gonna make a sign that says, Tina what? Divorce. Okay, like we got to jump into it now, and then we'll talk about what it means, I guess, for the Storm, who we think she's going to end up signing with. Yeah. So Tina Charles and the Phoenix Mercury parted ways with one another. Divorced is the word that they used. Again, my favorite. Middle of the season like this. Just leave the team. Not a trade, which I need someone to break down to me why you don't try to trade for Tina. Why do you give her the ability to do this? In my mind, the only thing that makes sense is she had to have probably said something along the lines of, I'll only go play here if there wasn't a deal on the table. Then the team was like, we'd rather you just not be here. They've kind of said that. They're just kind of like, yeah, we feel really good about Tina not being here, moving on. Like the coach said that. They were just like, how hard is it for you? And she was like, we feel pretty good that the girls that want to be here are here. Yeah. And we're going to play basketball. Thoughts?
I don't know how the money works. I find it confusing that they would rather not have anyone come to fill her spot.
That they would rather have no one for her spot than have her on that roster.
Yes. That is
the T.
Telling. That is telling. It was addition by subtraction. That's essentially what that means.
Absolutely. Yeah. And gosh, yeah, the players.
When I say that out loud, I'm like, well, what does that mean for home team?
I have such mixed emotions. I have such mixed emotions. We have it on close sources here that this is not the first team that Tina's left that felt that they were okay. we know for a fact that Seattle had the chance to sign her this summer, and they
Yeah.
looked into it and wasn't sure how much of a cultural fit it was. And these aren't like secrets. You can see she forced her way out of Connecticut. And like more props to the players for like voicing your opinions and stuff like this. Like she did nothing wrong. She asked to be let go. The Phoenix Mercury let her go. She did nothing in terms of contract, like outside of that norm, but broke the contract. So yeah, outside the norm. But I think this has been like I'm not going to say a legacy of hers, but this has been something we've seen time and time again. Her leaving places not honestly on the best footing. And how do you feel about that as a teammate, ownership group, coach, a player coming in and after such a messy situation?
You think your culture is different, and so therefore it will have a different outcome. You're also hoping that if she can just get you over the edge. And so let's just get right into Storm, how this affects the Storm. The Storm has said this year they're going after the title. And so they believe by very likely acquiring her that she can help them get there. They don't think currently as constructed they can get there, which is true, quite frankly. Come on. But do you think I'm not gonna say the answer, but do you think she is gonna help us get that much closer?
I kind of do, but
What?
like I don't. She's huge in what she could. The problem with this is like the potential of it. I can see it. I like a lot of this.
The bench has been struggling.
The bench has been struggling. When we pulled certain players or when we don't have certain matchups, like we just can't score. Ezzy is great. She has done a huge like leap in her abilities this year, but Ezzy isn't like dictating the offense. Ezzy isn't getting the ball at the top of key and necessarily drawing a whole crowd, right? Tina kind of does. Tina draws double teams. Tina opens up the floor for these other players. I think Tina in a second unit. I don't think Tina's coming to this team to be the second unit. So this is where all the questions come into my mind. It's like, well, if you put Tina in the second unit now, you've got an automatic score. She can create her own bucket. She's pulling guards and defenders away from other players, potentially opening up more free shots for Epiphany Prince, who has a great 3-point percentage. The potential of all these things are there. But it has also been said that she didn't like her role on the Phoenix Mercury team, especially how she was used on offense. She shoots 16 times a game. If she came here and shot 16 times a game, that's the second most shots on our team behind only Brianna Stewart, who is an MVP frontrunner. It would be more shots a game than Joel Lloyd.
If you're looking for a larger role, it's not here.
We don't get 400 shots a game on this team. I mean, I wish we would. It would help immensely rebounding. She averages 7 rebounds a game. She's a great free throw shooter. We're terrible at even getting to the line. So just having another person down low that's going to be banging and kind of filling that post position.
But she doesn't want the second unit. She wants to lead the first unit.
What if we put her in that first unit I'm trying to think of a world where both of those things could happen, and maybe like I'm not saying take Ezzy out of the starting lineup, but what if Ezzy is then in that second unit, and you're not playing her 36 minutes a game? I'm not saying like bench her,
no,
like take her out of the starting lineup. But what if she can get more minutes and like be more of that person? But she has to have someone along with her in that. That's what I'm saying. Like Tina, I think can be in the second unit and have. Which other 4 you want to plug in? Like Gabby Williams, Brianne January. Gabby's a starter, but still. Gabby, Brianne January,
Stephanie
Epiphany,
Talbot.
and Stephanie Talbot. There's not an offensive playmaker in that group. And I think that's where we've been getting stagnant is they just do all these things and they're trying to run through the motions, but they're not getting these shots. Tina will get you a shot. And even Ezzy in that situation, Ezzy is... For as much as she's grown, she's more of like standing around, wait for the offense to happen to her. She's cutting and slicing. Where I think Tina is like it or not, I can chunk up this 3 and hit it consistently. I will like drive and get a foul. I think she's just more apt to create her own offense.
And you think culture-wise, it's gonna work?
No. I'm really looking for like the light and the dark places here. I don't hate this move for us. I don't know how I feel about how much this team has talked about culture and how important that is, right?
Yeah.
And they brought in, we don't know again, this move will be taking place somewhere in the next 2 to 3 hours. So
as soon as we're done.
Like by the time this is released, you're all going to have way more information than us.
Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
As you know, we've got 6 girls on this team that won't be here next year, so we got to go get it now.
If you're saying culture is so important, and you possibly have 6 players leaving, so who's left is Jewel Lloyd, Ezzy Magbagor, Tina Charles. This is your core moving
Stephanie
forward.
Talbot, wow, erasure.
My apologies, Stephanie Talbot.
Stephanie Hive, leave comments in the section here.
I'm going with core, all right? So you have a shooting guard and 2 centers as your core for 2023.
Me don't know.
You went all in. And I guess, if you won the championship, then yeah, you blow it all up and then you have no picks. Great, yeah. Like, I don't quite know. Was it worth it for a championship? They're going to say yes. That's why you compete to win a championship. So if it ends with a championship, yes. If she comes and if she plays on Wednesday, that's such a good litmus paper of like, okay, does this work? Now, all the excuses are going to be, she just got here, she's learning this game, da 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 da. But like, she knows basketball and she should be able to hop in and go. At least that's what I think.
Right now, who's your starting 5? Tina gets added. Bench for Tina. Wow. You heard it here first. I did. Talissa's best friend just said the Tina coming off the bench versus the A6. ESPN, you heard it here.
Breaking news. I don't want to take Ezzy off the bench.
I don't either. This is the thing.
What are they doing?
I'm kind of like, what? I don't know. Look, I think we needed a guard. I was literally like, why didn't they get a point guard? Because in my mind, when I just thought about this whole unit, I was like, dang, you know what really sucks is when she comes in, we don't have a guard. Like,
when you said earlier, oh, like she'll draw defenders, and I was like, can they hit an open 3? It sounds very disrespectful, and I do know that. But also, that's what's happening. Like, they're getting really good looks, the second unit, and the shots aren't falling. So it's great that she can pull defenders. It doesn't seem to I don't think it really matters that much. So I think they need more shooters. I do understand why they got her, because Ezzy does need a break. She shouldn't be playing 36 minutes, even though she's 22 years old. So yes, I would still choose to have her be the 6th person, to be Ezzy's backup. And perhaps, as you're integrating her in, maybe they're splitting time a little bit more. But I would lead with the youth. I would still go with Ezzy.
And with that, I think you said 2 things earlier that really hit home. They had the abilities to make this trade in the off season, and they didn't. So that kind of tells you that, yeah, they just weren't where they thought they were going to be at this point in the season, and they know they have to make this jump. I'm going to give them this credit. I do think that I think this team thinks that they have uniquely great culture, and that like they have some players that can lead this, right? And I like culture. I feel like I just keep throwing this around, but what I mean is just like the players are getting along, and we all kind of do this. I think maybe where I run into this is like they also had a veteran on that team, and Diana Taurasi. They have a professional, regardless if you love her or hate her. Skylar Diggins-Smith is a professional.
Absolutely.
She shows up to play basketball.
Why didn't it work there?
Why didn't that work?
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw the Brittany Griner thing. Like Tina maybe wanted to be like, I want to be the 2nd best post player on my team and just have a little bit of a break. Or maybe she's like, let Ezzy play the 5 and I'll give Stewie a break. Let me come in as a 4. She's not, but maybe. Pick them. Get ready to start off with a doozy, because tonight you have 5-14 Indianapolis Fever versus the 7-12 Tina Charles-less Phoenix Mercury.
Mercury.
Wow! Can't wait. Next game, you've got the Las Vegas Aces versus the Los Angeles Sparks.
Aces.
Woo, shock. The Atlanta Dream versus the Washington Mystics. Dallas Wings versus the Minnesota Lynx.
Wings.
The Connecticut Sun versus the Chicago Sky.
Oh,
me too. I love that team. I just do. Then you got Indiana and Phoenix playing again.
Fever.
Mercury. You picked Fever.
Yeah, we flipped it.
Love that. Seattle versus the Aces. Every one of the Las Vegas Aces players averages in double figures. Can I do it really fast? Kelsey Plum is averaging 20.2 of them things. Jackie Young, 18.3. Asia Wilson, 18.3. Derek Hamby, 13.4. Chelsea Gray, 12.5. Stewie, 22 points. Jewel Lloyd, 16. Ezzy, 12. Sue, 8. Gabby, 6. We got 2 players in solo digits. They've got all 5 over a dozen. 1, 2, 3.
Aces.
Why? We've got the Atlanta Dream over the New York Liberty. Atlanta's been slipping. Saw this tweet yesterday that they have 4 games with an offensive efficiency below 80%. No other team has more than 3, and only 2 teams in the league have like more than 2.
They were high, and now they're kind of evening out to where they should be.
The Sparks versus the Wings.
Wings. You like chaos?
I do. And then, anytime I see LA on the calendar, I just throw caution to the winds. I never know.
Roll that dice.
Yeah, I'm like, sure. Aces versus Lynx. 1, 2, 3 Aces. Cool, great. Indiana Fever versus Seattle. That game is here.
Storm. And I'm excited to see all the rookies.
I'm so bummed. The Mercury versus the Sky. Sunday. Awesome. Another one of those days where everyone plays except for one team. But the games are all spread apart. That's
Lovely.
great. We have the Mystics versus the Sun. Mystics. We have the Storm versus the Dream.
No, I meant Storm.
I did too. That was so weird.
Storm.
Wow. We've got the Liberty versus the Sparks.
And I meant that.
I kind of do too. The Aces versus the Lynx Aces. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, there's our pick'em for the week. Feeling pretty good. Right now in the standings, it's gotten a lot closer with Vegas losing a couple. Vegas is 13-4. Right behind them is Chicago at 13-5. Connecticut 13-6. That's top 3. Seattle's actually in 4th at 11-7. Washington 12-9. Then you've got Dallas, Atlanta, New York, LA, Phoenix, Indiana, and Minnesota.
We're at the halfway point.
We are. If you had to say right now, I'm just going to go with the teams that are like right there on the cusp. So the 8th, 9th, and 10th between Atlanta, New York, LA. Which one of those teams would you have getting in? Or Phoenix. Phoenix is right there too.
My 2 picks would be New York and Phoenix.
Yeah. I would pick New York for sure. And then I would be torn between Phoenix and LA. Probably LA.
Fight me.
What are we fighting over this week? I think I've lost every fight me.
No, maybe.
Oh, gayest song. Oh.
What's the gayest song? Ooh.
I've got mine locked and loaded. You would never.
Oh my.
Cannot get me in this. When I want to feel really gay, when I want to just live that fantasy, I put on Troye Sivan. And Troye Sivan Bloom is a song that uniquely speaks to me because the music video and the words itself just portray spreading. Whenever I listen to Bloom, I'm like, it's very gay. I'm imagining like in for the first time, like pow.
Subscribe to the Patreon if you want the uncensored version of or perhaps an OnlyFans where we talk.
All right. Any ideas from you?
Oh my God.
Is that what you were going for?
You know, it was a little different. Not the same experience, really.
Maybe that'll open up some avenues.
So my selection is Pink by Janelle Monáe.
Oh. Zoom in on that. Oh. Do you have those same pants?
Exact same pants. And
oh.
because
wow,
all is... So when you get...
That's what happens when you be for decades, Henny.
Smurfs for decades.
Barney fat pants. Woo! How do we lose those credential passes? For Balance Sports.
Who won that one?
I mean, do you like Bloom by Troye Sivan?
I do. I do enjoy Bloom.
I like that one too. I feel like this is a time.
Okay, I like that.
We decided not to fight this week. Love. Gay love.
For Balance Sports, I'm Jewelz.
I'm Hunter. Do you think we move Gabby Williams to the bench at all?
No.
Me either, but I'm trying to figure out
not.
where you put... I'm not moving Ezzy to the bench.
I'm not either, but my name's Julia, not Noelle Quinn, so...